Hey everyone, this is our last episode of Expedition, and I gotta say, I'm so glad that you've joined us.
Oh, by the way, if you joined us for Stay Camp, we are giving away some pins to remember and celebrate some of the things that we've learned. I know normally we have pins and prizes at regular day camp, but obviously we weren't able to do regular day camp. So come on down to Fall Festival as well, because we want to be able to celebrate those things and share some of those prizes with you also. It's going to be awesome.
Now, we've been looking at the Bible and how God judged the evil and sinfulness of the people, all the while rescuing and allowing Noah and his family to be saved, along with the animal creatures he created. Now, here's a recap. We've learned that our world is broken because of sin, and that brokenness leads to people trying to fix the problem or turn to behaviors and attitudes that actually make the problem worse. But God didn't want us stuck in that mess, a mess that was made by our own doing. In order to bring people back to a place where we could be close to God again, the way it was meant to be, a place like the Garden of Eden in the very beginning, God had to deal with the sin problem. There was a punishment that had to be paid, guilt and shame that needed to be taken away. Just like the people in Noah's day, they had to face the consequences of their action. We actually are faced with the same consequence. Yes, you heard me right. We talked about how each and every one of us has sinned and deserved punishment because of it. But we also remember that God promised never to do what he did during Noah's time. We know that God had a plan to save Noah and his family, to keep that faithful remnant safe in the middle of the storm, and that God would save anyone and everyone who followed his plan for rescue, and that is true for us right now. That came in the form of Jesus. Hebrews 10:10 says, "We have been made holy by what God wanted. We have been made holy because Jesus Christ offered his body once and for all time." The passage continues, and it reminds people some of verses from the prophet Jeremiah, saying, "I will forgive their evil ways. I will not remember their sins anymore." When Jesus came to earth, he was able to keep all of God's instructions perfectly. He never disobeyed and never let sin take a hold of his heart, even in the middle of being tempted. But even as a perfect example for us, Jesus was still arrested, beaten, and killed. He was put on a cross as an awful way to be punished. To his friends and followers at the time, it was so strange, unusual, and unexpected. And for a lot of us, hearing the story about a rescue mission from sin that came from God, it seems so strange to hear our hero being put to death. But the story didn't end there. Jesus came back to life again, proving that everything that was written about him in God's word was true. He is God's son. He is fully God, and he would be the one to take the judgment and punishment of sin from God so that we wouldn't have to. And just like he came back to life again and joined God in heaven, we have that future to look forward to as well. As we continue on with today's episode and we talk a little bit about all these ideas, we want you to see for yourself what it means to be saved by Jesus and what he did on the cross for us.